After studying the structure of the cell, we are going to now discuss the function of the cell and the function of all of the parts inside the cell. Here we see the cell structure and function together. So now we are going to look into the function. If we start with nucleus, we press on nucleus. It will point to us where the nucleus is in both the plant cell and the animal cell. This is the plant cell. We can recognize it by its rectangular shape. This is the animal cell with its almost round shape. And here we can see the nucleus in both the plant and the animal cell. And as we discussed, the nucleus is a common part between both types of cells. So both the plant and the animal cell have it. As for function, the nucleus controls what job a cell does. We can think of a cell as a company and the nucleus as the boss. The nucleus will tell the different parts of the cell what jobs to do at what times, and that is how the cell stays in control. And also, the nucleus will contain the chromosomes, which contain genetic information, or what we know as DNA. Second, we have the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm, as we said, we can imagine it as water or a jelly-like substance. It is what fills the gaps inside the cells between the organelles, which are the small parts of the cell. It's colored in pink here. We can see it in both the plant cell and the animal cell, since we already learned that it is a common part between both cells. As for the function of the cytoplasm, it surrounds the nucleus. It also fills all of the gaps inside the cell. It takes up volume. It's important because many chemical reactions take place in the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm provides a medium for the chemical reactions to take place inside the cell. Each chemical reaction is controlled by a chemical called an enzyme. We will later learn on about these chemical reactions that take place inside the cell, and we will also learn what enzymes are and what their function is. Now we go on to the cell wall. The cell wall is the outer covering of the plant cell, and it is not found in animal cells. It's not a common part between both types of cells. The cell wall is what gives the cell strength and support. It gives it its rectangular shape. This is why all plant cells are rectangular, no matter where they are in the plant. As for animal cells, they don't have a cell wall to give them a specific shape. So different types of animal cells will have different shapes. Like for example, the cells in the brain will have a different shape than the cells of the bones. As for plant cells, they will always be rectangular and they will have strength and support, all because of the cell wall. The cell wall is also made of cellulose. This is an important thing to note. Cellulose is a type of sugar, and it makes up the cell wall. The cell membrane is a common part between plant cells and animal cells. Here we see it in red. It is inside the cell wall, and it surrounds the plant cell. It is a very thin membrane. And as for the animal cell, since there is no cell wall, the cell membrane is actually the outer cover of it. A function of the cell membrane is to hold the cell together, to separate it from the outside environment, and not to allow everything to leave to the outside or everything to enter to the inside. But that doesn't mean that the cell membrane is like a sheet of paper. The cell membrane actually has small holes or pores inside of it, which allows sometimes small molecules to leave to the outside or to enter to the inside. That is why we call the cell membrane semi-permeable or selectively permeable, which means it allows the transfer of materials to the inside or outside, but in a controlled manner. Next we have the mitochondrion, which is the singular of mitochondria. Here we can see the mitochondria inside the plant cell and inside the animal cell. One of these small orange rods is a mitochondrion. The mitochondria are found in the cytoplasm. They use glucose in respiration, to release energy for the cell. So glucose, sugar that we take in through food, the mitochondrion will use it to make energy for the cell. The process in which the mitochondrion uses this glucose to make energy for the cell is called cellular respiration. It's different from respiration that we normally know, which is the breathing. This process of cellular respiration is the process in which energy is made for the cell by the mitochondrion, and we will study it later. So, the mitochondrion is responsible for making energy for the cell, and we know that cells need energy to make many chemical reactions inside them.